It's time for Meet Me at the Diner, and today we're going to be talking about what I think is kind of a little-known place that does a lot of good right here in our community. It's the Kinard Manor right here in Greenwood. Ever heard of it? Well, it does a lot of good things for our homeless vets. And today to talk with me is Randy Lawson. He is the house manager there.
No, ma'am, I'm program director.
Program director. Oh, promoted to program director. I am so sorry. Program director in August of 2014. So you've been doing that since then. And in between times, you broke your shoulder.
Yes, ma'am, about a month ago.
Okay. So that's kind of tough to start off the new year with, huh?
Well, you come to expect things. You don't ever be surprised by them. When things like this happen, you just roll with it and keep on going.
Absolutely. So, Randy, how did you, you were in the military, and joined the Marine Corps in 1976?
Mm-hmm. In October of 1976, stayed on active duty until 1987. Did 11 years. 11 years.
What did you think of the whole experience?
I enjoyed it. I didn't want to get out, but I blew my knee out so bad I couldn't run anymore, and unfortunately, the Marine Corps frowns upon that and told me they would not let me re-enlist, and when I hit 11 years, I went ahead and got out.
Yeah. You know, I think there is so much good that the military does for young people today.
I think that the military does a lot of good, but they've slacked off, somebody in the Army mainly, and the Air Force. They've slacked off a whole lot. But
meaning?
They don't enforce discipline as hard as they need to, I don't think. Because we've had many young Army veterans come into our facility, and Air Force veterans,
mm-hmm.
and they don't last because they will not stick with rules. Every time we have one, they blow it, and out they go.
That's a shame, isn't it?
It is, and I try as best I can to work with them and give them chances, and then they throw it out the window every time.
Wow. Well, now, but you have had, I want to thank you first for your service to our country. We certainly appreciate it, and, you know, in the light of the Chris Kyle American Sniper that's been out there and been such a huge success, I think that it's important to note all of our military folks and all the contributions that they make in all different levels.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
It is. So, how did you were in the Marine Corps for 11 years. Now, what did you actually do?
I ended up being an air defense controller enlisted, which,
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, is a very, very small field. There weren't that many of us, and we were sent everywhere. Anytime somebody deployed, we went with them.
Wow. So I guess that meant you were gone a lot?
A lot. A whole lot. I'd be overseas 13 months, and we never got to take our wives with or children with us. So they'd be here in the States, I'd be overseas for 13 months, come home, and almost pretty much every time, as soon as I got home, I was deployed somewhere in the States to do another operation and be gone a month or 2 or 3 months, and then come back and turn around a month later and get another set of orders sending me here to do this job, and you never got to slow down.
That's hard on a married relationship, isn't it?
Yeah. At first it was on my wife and my kids, but they started to understand it.
Yeah.
It was part of the job, it was part of the obligation, it's what I signed up for.
Yeah. Well, you know, and sometimes I think we forget about them, the family members staying at home while the others are deployed. They're as important part of the team as those going out there.
In a lot of ways, they are the most important, because the families have to be comfortable with and have backup and support to help them support whoever their loved one is that's in there. Because it's hard. I know it's hard. Because, like I say, my wife was left alone for probably out of 11 years, she was left alone for 9 or 10 of them.
So I guess you guys got along great then, huh?
Oh, occasionally, yeah. We had our fair runs.
You had your runs, okay. All right, well, anywho, this is such a good program. Now, I want to talk a little bit just about, before we go to our break, what is Kinard Manor? What does it do, and who does it exist through?
All right, Kinard Manor is part of Lutheran Services Carolinas, but the men that we get come through Dorn in the Health Care for Homeless Veterans program. It's a homeless program for veterans. They have a certain amount of qualifications they have to meet to get in it. They can't have anything less than a general under honorable conditions. with a continuous 180 days of active service. But once they are decided if they can live in our facility, because our facility is called an independent living facility. They have to cook for themselves, wash their own clothes, keep the house clean, keep the ground straightened up, and that's their requirement. And there are other rules that go along with it. It's pretty strict, pretty disciplined, but they can leave out at 6 in the morning. They don't have to tell us where they're going, as long as they're in that house at 11 o'clock. If they're late coming in, I give them one chance not to have it happen again. If they come in twice like that, I have to put them out. I have no choice because they've broken the rules.
Sure. You know, it is amazing when we think about, we know we have homeless people, but it's hard to believe that we actually have homeless vets, but there is a big population of them. In fact, at one point you were homeless.
Yeah, I was homeless for about grand total, including living in the shelter I was living in, probably about 3 months, and then got into the VA system.
Now, how did you end up homeless, if you don't mind me asking?
I was doing contract work for myself, my own company, and business just petered out. I couldn't keep anything up. I finally ended up having to sell all my tools to keep where I was living, and lost my truck, and that was it. I was out.
It's hard to be in business when you don't have any of those tools to make it work.
Well, not only that, but it's hard, like I said, there wasn't any business. I couldn't get any contracts because there just wasn't anything being done in the area I was in.
Where were you at?
I was in Florence.
In Florence?
Florence County.
Okay, so you were here in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So then you ended up in the Homeless Veterans Program in December of 2013.
Yes.
What did that mean to you?
A chance to get something going and get my life back. Plain and simple. That's what I went to them for, and that's what I got, an opportunity to get my life back.
And how do you get into the Homeless Veterans Program if you are a vet and seek help?
Well, first thing is you have to be checked for tuberculosis and take a urinalysis drug test. And then if they're clear, then they bring you in, they do an assessment on you as far as your needs and so on. If everything else is good, you're discharged them off. Once they do that, they just find somewhere to put you and decide where you need to be, and they put you in a house, in a different home. There are 3 homes in Columbia, Providence House, and 2 that Christ Central has, and then we're the only one in the upstate, Kinard, Manor.
So now, do people come from out of town that are homeless people to go to Kinard, or are they local people that end up there? That was one thing I never understood.
We have a mix. We have some from out of state. We have one guy from Illinois that's here with us, and you never know what you're going to get next. I mean, it could be anybody. Most of them are local, right around Columbia and down near Charleston, that area.
Okay. All right. So we are going to be talking more about the Kinard House. We're going to be talking here with Randy Lawson. He is the program director. He's been that since August of last year. And, of course, at one point, I know Terry Weeks was working with the program,
yes,
and he actually, I think, was helping out when you were kind of with your arm and everything, because I was trying to catch up. Wasn't he helping out some while your shoulder was... Terry?
Yeah, he's helping us out now driving, because I'm still not cleared to drive, administer vehicles. So until I get that clearance from my doctor, I'm stuck the way I am.
Okay. Keeps you close to home, doesn't it?
No, I got my truck.
Oh, you've got your truck. Oh, you can drive your truck. You can't drive the van
theirs.
that takes people. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we are here with Randy Lawson. It's going to be an interesting show. I want to get across the point of what happens when you're in this program and how you progress and get yourself back on your feet. It's so important, and I know there's a lot of interest in helping our veterans get on their feet, and there's so many reasons why people end up homeless. I hope we can touch on some of those. Hey, I'm Eller right here on WCRS. We'll be back after this word. Right back here, Sharp Facets Gallery. I'm Eller. Right here, sitting across from me is Randy Lawson. He is the program director down there at the Kinard Manor. Gosh, it sounds like the Kinard Manor. It sounds like a huge place with large gardens and all this. For those of you that don't know, where is the Kinard House? Where is it?
It's on South Main Street. It's 2 doors down from The fire station, right across the street from Southside Baptist Church.
Okay. It doesn't
Or
have
South
this
Main
large
Baptist.
area of gardens and huge palatial place, is it?
If you consider a fenced-in tiny yard, palatial garden, yeah, that'd be about it.
That'd be about it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, how many guys can be there at one time?
At one time, you can have 10, that's it.
And how many do you have there right now?
We have 10 right now.
Wow.
We are full.
You're full. I guess the need is pretty large. I mean, how many places do you know across the state, that are in the Lutheran group, or you were telling us between Columbia and here, how many beds are available? Do you know?
I believe in Columbia there are 6 beds for women veterans, none from men. We're the only Lutheran Services VA shelter, period, of men.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
They saw a need, and this was the place they opened.
Wow.
Now, looking after talking with the local prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
they're doing this veterans court,
Right.
and I'm working with them. If they get a veteran that can qualify for our program, we may be opening another house. That we've talked about it. We're waiting to see what happens. And as soon as we start picking up from that, we'll see what we
Right.
got.
Because that's the Veterans Court. Has it started?
Not yet.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
still working all the details out on it.
Yeah, pretty awesome program. So there's a facility in Columbia for 6 homeless women's vets, but there are not any places for men in Columbia?
There are other shelters. There's
Okay.
Providence House and 2 Christ Central locations, one in Lexington, one in Columbia.
Yeah.
But those are fairly large facilities. I believe Providence House will hold probably 40 men, and Christ Central, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you about that.
Now, what are the reasons that somebody a veteran ends up in need of shelter, being homeless?
Well, the one thing is, you got to remember, homeless veterans are no different from homeless anybody.
Sure.
And you can be homeless for any reason. I mean, you lose your job, you could get caught up in a court case and lose all your money. I mean, it's just any of a number of things: drug, alcohol abuse.
Do we see
Getting out of
more
prison,
people
okay.
with PTSD having problems along that way?
We see some. We don't see as many as you might believe. And they made a big deal of it for years, and I've had, I think, probably 4 guys, and since I've been there as a house manager and program director, I think I've seen about 4, maybe 5 guys there with a PSD difficulty.
Okay. So that is not necessarily, it's just part of it is the economy and finding, one of the things that I do think is pretty terrific, I don't know how it is the fact that they do work, the National Guard works very hard at finding jobs for veterans. They've had a big push across our state. Has that made a difference, do you know?
Not that I know of, not in our facility. Most of our guys are older veterans. I mean,
Okay.
our average age right now, our oldest guy is 65. He was put back into the hospital today with back problems. The youngest one's 24. He's an Afghanistan veteran.
Well,
And but our average age is right around 50 to 55 right in that area.
that's that hard market to find marketable skills in today's world.
Well, it's not that, the age. Believe it or not, they look at your age when you're hiring.
Yeah.
Big time. If you're old, if you're
If you're old, hang it up.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got one man that's 56 that's been sending out application after application after application, and has been turned down every time because he's 56 years old. He has skills, but he just can't get hired.
Wow. That's that is hard. That is so hard. Now, does out of curiosity, does the Kinard House work with any type of retraining programs for veterans?
We recommend Limestone College and all the others that are available through the VA programs, and also South Carolina Workforce. They have a program there that retrains people or extends their training a little further to give them that many more skills. Plus, at South Carolina Works, they try to help. They work on finding them a job while they're doing this training,
Wow.
and work hard on it. Mike Staley up at the Workforce is a VA rep, and he does a wonderful job for our guys.
So when somebody comes into the program here, and as you've been the program director, I guess, since August, and before that you were a house manager.
Yeah.
What's the difference in the two jobs, Randy?
Well, the program director is responsible for everything.
Okay.
The house manager is mainly there just to monitor the residents and to do driving. That's mostly it. And do something. Well, I have mine doing like I did, which is a lot of the maintenance instead of having to call our ministry maintenance guy.
Sure. Okay, so you've been there, I guess, since May then, correct?
Since May of 2014.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, 2013.
2013, okay.
Yeah.
So how have you seen, I mean, how are the guys turning over to find jobs? Is there a pretty good success rate, or do you have an idea of the success rate?
I don't really have an idea what the success rate would be, but the ones who have put forth the effort, which you get some that are just, they wouldn't work in a pie factory. I mean, they ain't gonna do it.
Right.
But we have some that really put an effort, and they succeed. They get out there and they're working big time. I mean, it's turned out very well for them.
Well, I know that so many times we don't understand how somebody ends up homeless. In fact, being homeless in Greenwood is something that I think most of us look, no, we don't have homeless people in Greenwood. But the Pathway House, we had him on last week, and that is a very good example that, yes, we have homeless people. We need shelter for people, particularly when it's cold, but people need to understand that you don't have to be a huge metropolitan area to have homeless people.
And that's the truth. Yes, it is. I think what it is people don't like seeing it, so they have a tendency to have blinders on when it comes to homeless problems.
Right.
They see it as, well, that's just drunks. That's just a bunch of alcoholics and druggies. Don't worry about them. A lot of times it's not. It's just guys that have lost out and the luck has turned bad, or whatever you want to call it. And things happen. I mean, it happened to me. And I was very successful for years.
It must be hard to reach out for a handout, particularly if, like in your case, you've been successful, and I'm sure a lot of our veterans were very good at the job they did, and it has to be very humiliating to have to ask for help.
Well, I can't speak for others, but for myself, it was, because I had to hit bottom hard, and I stayed there for a while before I woke up and realized I got to ask for somebody to give me a hand with this, and finally I did.
So you were looking for a hand up, not a hand out.
That's it. I just wanted somebody to give me a little shelter, give me time to get a job, get something going work-wise, and I'd be fine from there on.
And it looks like you are fine, except for your shoulder here.
Well, like I said, these things do happen. You can't help it.
Right. So as you look at people coming through this now, I understand from our conversation we were just having off the air, one of the things is disabled veterans that are homeless end up there. Now, the idea of them getting a job, that's not likely to happen if they've been qualified as disabled.
No, if they're completely, many of our guys are 100% disabled when they come to us. I mean, they're really messed up people. And there ain't no way they're going to be able to find work. But the ones who have less disability, like 50% or less, those I will try to talk into going ahead and get a part-time job, something that pays, if nothing else, $100 a week. That'll put some extra cash in their pockets and put it in the bank, so on. And builds up a little bit quicker, gives a little bit more comfortable with life. I found when I was running the other facility in Florence that one of the first things I tried to do is get the man some kind of work. If nothing else, for breaking leaves to make $40, $50.
It's not just about the money, though, isn't it? Giving
No,
that
but
dignity,
it puts the dignity and pride back into him. You can see the difference after a man's been broke and down so hard so long. When he comes in and he's got that money in his pocket, you can see it in his face.
It
The
makes a
dignity
difference.
has come back,
Absolutely.
and the confidence.
Yes. And that's what we all need out of life, and that's one of the first steps towards making it back, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. It's very big. That and knowing you're living somewhere that's safe.
Let's say. Absolutely. Well, we are here with Randy Lawson. He is the program director of the Kinard Manor right here in Uptown Greenwood. Hey, we're going to join South Carolina News. We'll be right back.
Are you a pirate or a pack rat? Do you have a vacation of a lifetime sitting in the attic? Or a college tuition hung on a wall? Or is a fabulous retirement hidden in your jewelry box? Bring those items to Sharp Facets Gallery. We can establish value and buy from you or sell for you. And so ends another chapter at Sharp Facets Gallery, 72 Bypass, and on the web, sharpfacets.com.
Oh, that's right. We're right back here, Sharp Facets Gallery. Yes, this is Meet Me at the Diner. Yes, I'm Ann Eller, and yes, I'm here with Randy Lawson. He is the program director for the Kinard Manor, which is a homeless veterans house. Houses up to 10 veterans, and right now they have a full house. You know, you and I were talking during the break about, you said they have to cook their own meals, and except for those that shouldn't be allowed near a kitchen, right?
That's about it. We want to keep the house standing.
Yes, exactly. But for those that know how to cook, you were telling me how they ask each other if they'd like to eat, what they would like. In fact, y'all even try to have the types of foods that they'll like.
Yeah, we try to, they said tell us what they'd like to have. Of course, no steak and lobster, that's out of the question, but within reason, and we'll try to get it. If everybody agrees to it and everybody seems to be wanting it, that's fine. We'll go and pick it up for them and have it in the freezer whenever they were to cook it.
Now, food is something that you all supply. I mean, you don't have anybody that you just can run a tab with.
No, we have to buy our own, I'm afraid. We
Yeah.
run about, usually about $170 to $180 a week.
A week?
A week.
Wow. Food's a big cost then.
Yeah, it's a big one. It puts a dent in us. If they can get anybody, if anybody wants to come by and donate some food, bring it on. We'll take it. We're not refusing anything. We're not choosy at all.
Wow. Food, you know, and food makes such a difference in someone's outlook too, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, we have guys that come in looking like fence posts and they leave looking like pregnant snakes. I mean, they get some weight put on them real quick.
Okay. But I'm just, okay, well, from that aspect, but also just from giving you a positive image about yourself is that you're eating and you're getting food, and you can become a lot more enthusiastic and a lot more positive about life when you have a full belly, I guess we should say.
Yeah, but it's also part of feeling safe. When they know they've got somewhere they can go get food, they just feel like, I'm home. This is it. I'm safe here.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen here that can hurt me.
Sure. So you have the food issue, $170, $180 a week.
Yep.
Okay. Now, how is Kinard House financed?
Okay, aside from the stipend they pay on the veterans, which, like I say, isn't that much.
And that comes from the Veterans Center, is that right?
That comes from the VA.
VA.
And the grant per diem program at the VA. And then the rest of it is all donations. It comes through donations and keeps us afloat. We do rather well. We got a certain amount on our budget we're supposed to stick in, and we were able pretty well to stick at it, or a little bit below it.
But the guys, when they're there, they don't have to pay for anything.
They don't pay for anything they don't want. If they buy food for themselves, they put their name on it, that's theirs. Nobody else will touch it.
Okay. And if they wanted to cook a meal and wanted to treat everybody, that would be their doing too.
That's their choice. That's their choice.
Now, what about clothing and toiletries and all the little things that actually we kind of take for granted in life?
As before, we supply it. We buy it, we have it on hand, or we have it donated. And if they need it, they got it. When they come in, if they need soap, shampoo, toothpaste, whatever, we've got it on hand. We give them towels and washcloths, sheets, blanket, pillows, and they can take that with them when they leave. Because if they don't, it's just going to end up going in the trash. Because we can't redistribute it. That's VA rules on that. We cannot redistribute it once it's been used by one of our clients. But we have to buy it all. As far as clothing goes, Salvation Army gives them vouchers. All they got to have from me is a letter of residence showing they are at Kinard, they are homeless. And they're the only ones that really give us much help aside from private citizens.
Wow.
And we get guys, like I told you before, we get guys coming in with just clothes on their backs, and that's all they've got. They don't have a thing else, and we have to line them up and try to find something for them. And we count on donations from private citizens, and we count on the Salvation Army, and it usually works out well.
Still, that's tough when you've got, and you've got your population turns over there. I mean, you have 10 men there right now. What is the longest that somebody may stay there?
It's supposed to be 2 years, according to the program. I think the one we've had there the longest is one of the guys we've got there right now has been there 13 months.
Okay.
He's working on his 14th. He's been told he's got to get out pretty quick. I mean, not by the VA, not by me.
Right.
I have no problem with him being there. But he's been there the longest right now.
So, and how does the population turnover relative?
It's hard to say. I've had months where we've kept the same population, the same guys over and over and over and over and over. And then there's some months where everybody goes at one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then new batch comes in. I mean, that's just the way it works.
Okay. So how many? Can you tell me how many guys have been there since, let's say, since last, I don't know, August of last year, since that's when you became program manager, roughly?
I couldn't tell you that. I can tell you how many have been there since we opened, since the place opened in November of '07.
How many?
That's 203.
203.
That's including the ones I have there today.
Wow. And can you tell me the success rate?
Yep, it's about 52.9%.
52.
Are successful.
So a little over 100 have gone out into the world and become successful.
That's what we're figuring out.
Now, do you give back from those that have come into the program and then gone on?
We have. Most of the time they just stop by to say thank you.
That's great.
Because the way they see it, not too many people reach out to these people, to these guys, especially the veterans. And when you do, you touch them. And when they leave successfully, they don't forget how they got there. And they come back to thank us for the chance to start over.
Randy, I'd be curious, why do you stay working in this? You were with, out of Florence, you were with a program down there, and then you ended up with this job here. Why do you stay with the Veterans Program?
It means a lot to me. I mean, I care about these guys. I really do. And I want to see them succeed. I don't want to see them back out there on those streets. I mean, most of these guys are good people who have just had a real bad run. And it's sad to see in a lot of their cases, guys that are just completely devastated by what's happened to them. But when you put your hand out and you help them up, you can see the gratitude. And you can see the spirit returning to them. And they come back. And I love that. I love that feeling. I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. When they offered me this job, at first I turned it down.
You turned it down?
Yeah.
Why?
And then I started praying.
Yeah.
And I said, and something told me, yeah, take it. Because I've done it before and it almost killed me. I had a heart attack the last time I was doing this stuff. Just like this.
God almighty. And here you got a broken shoulder. What's next, folks? Okay.
But then...
Because why? I mean, because
I feel
why?
that God told me to do this.
Okay.
And when I made the decision to go ahead and take it, it felt like a weight was pulled off my shoulders. So I knew it was what I was supposed to be doing.
Well, you know, God bless people like you that are able to be out there doing that. It's a tough job.
It is tough, but like I said, it's worth it. It's worth it. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours. You may get called in at 2 o'clock in the morning. That happened a few times to me.
Sure.
For problems that are going on, or a fire alarm getting set off, or something like that.
Sure. Wow. Well, we are here with Randy Lawson. He is the program director. Now, Randy, if somebody would like to call you after the show and talk to you maybe about volunteering or helping out with something or providing something, what's a number for them to call?
They can call 864-229-0074.
Okay, 864-229-0074. And I do believe do y'all have a website?
Yes, we do. It's LSC at LS Carolinas, just lscarolinas.net.
.net.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk some more with Randy. Hey, if you've got a question, give us a call, 229-7984. That's 229-7984. We'll be right back. Oh, that's right. We're right back here. How you doing this afternoon? Hey, I'm Ann Eller. Fascinating conversation, and part of the reason I wanted to have Randy on was to bring attention to the fact that this is right here in our community. And actually, when you look at it throughout the state, this is the only veteran-approved center. Is that right? In the upstate?
No. In the upstate, yes.
In the upstate,
in the
right.
Upstate, this is it.
I mean, that's phenomenal, isn't it?
I find it is kind of strange because, like I said, there's a lot of veterans. A lot of veterans that are homeless that are trying to get some help.
Yeah.
Because the places in Columbia are full, all three places there. This is full. There's still veterans trying to get in, and there's nowhere they can put them. What they're doing is putting them up in motels in Columbia until they can get an opening and put them in to this place.
But putting
the
them in a
others.
motel, I mean, that's great that they have shelter, but that's not doing anything for getting them motivated to
No,
get a job
no.
or get back on their feet.
No, not at all. And it's not really good for them to be in a motel because they need to be in a most of them need to be in a supervised or monitored type environment with fellow veterans who are in the same boat so they can help each other.
Mhm.
That's what our guys do there. If we have a guy come in with no clothes in the place, somebody in that building is going to offer him a pair of jeans and a shirt or some socks or whatever he needs
Right.
to get him by for the time being. And that's the way we set up there, is try to get the guys to reach out to each other and help each other.
It sounds like it's a pretty phenomenal program.
I've been working on a lot of different things, trying to get things going. I push the guys to go get involved in churches. Big part. A church can do more for you than anything else. Because a church, you can get the contacts you need to get work, to get help, to find cheap housing if you want to look. It's all kinds of different things. Plus, I'm trying to start up right now is a mentoring program for these guys to have somebody to speak with who can help guide them and point them in the right directions.
That's priceless to have somebody help you with that type of thing.
Yeah, I started the same type of program down in Florence County in the facility I ran there, and that was a way bigger place than this. And you'd be amazed at how the men respond to that.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is interesting. And, you and I were just talking actually off the air about how, we have women veterans, and yet there's only one center that houses, what did you tell me, 6 veterans in
Yes.
Columbia?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
Place called,
that's
Angel's House.
that's phenomenal. And then what did you tell me? Is there one other place?
There's another one that Lutheran Services has in Dallas, North Carolina called Faith Farm.
And, but that's phenomenal. I mean, when it's the Pathway House here is a facility for men, but what do we do for our women? What do we do for the women that have children? I mean, I think that is one of those very underserved areas of our communities.
Well, maybe the churches in the area can get together, or even a private civic group
Yeah.
get together and open a shelter for, if nothing else, emergency time, like
Sure.
really cold.
Well, they
nights
do
and
do
stuff
that.
like
They do that. But, just for long-term not long-term, but, giving the person that opportunity to get back on their feet.
Well, that takes a special bunch to start a program, I can tell you that now. I rebuilt the program I ran in Florence and then stepped into this one blind, you might say,
Blind.
and had to learn it fast and took it over fast.
How do you feel the progress is in the community, in the community relations and with the guys that are getting back on their feet?
It's getting better. I just talked yesterday, had Candace Timmerman was over. She was helping me work with a computer program system that monitors homelessness called the HMIS. And she's going to bring her games organization, which is a homeless coalition type setup here in town. And she's going to talking about bringing that group by for a tour of the place and to have one of their meetings to see how we do it, how we live, and how we treat the guys and how they live.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Maybe that'll give somebody the inspiration to start bringing this up and see what they can come up with.
Sure. It certainly is, certainly sounds like it's good now. But I'm sure the successes, I'm sure you have some failures too.
Oh yeah, you always do. You have some you can't do anything with. You can't get them to work. You can't get them to do anything. And they're the ones that you have to eventually say, that's it. You've got to go.
It has to be tough.
You put them out for non-compliance, and there's nothing you can do for them.
Well, you said there's 2 sides to it. One is it is a Veterans Administration program. So they're in it from the Veterans Administration, and then they're in it, I guess, through the Lutheran Services, or what?
They are entirely in there from the
Veteran.
Veterans Administration.
Okay.
We have set up a set of facility rules in cooperation with the VA. That's our guideline. That's what we go by.
So they have two sets of rules. One, they have the house rules that they have to deal with as far as being safe and secure within the house. And then they have the rules coming from the Veterans Administration on looking for work, I presume, and saving money and doing that type of thing.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do about transportation, though?
We provide it.
Okay.
And the cost of it comes out of our pockets. And it's expensive. I mean, we can have 3 runs to Columbia in a week. And that gets expensive. That's a tank of gas each time. It gets a little heavy, especially when gas was up around $4 a gallon. That hurt.
Right.
But like I say, do we have to pay for that off of donations? Because the money they give us for the vets, it won't cover it.
Okay.
So it's an expensive deal.
It's an expensive deal.
Yeah.
And you're taking them for Columbia for doctor's appointments?
Medical, psychiatric, counseling, stuff like that. If they have an appointment of any kind, whether it's a job interview, anything like that, we take them. Unless, on a job interview, though, or a job itself, if it's 10 miles outside of Kinard, Manor, that's good. It's got to be inside that 10-mile radius. Beyond that, they're on their own. We will not carry them.
So you drop them off 10 miles out and say, I'm just making a joke here.
They have to leave. They have to leave from the facility and get carried from there if we're not going to even take them out there.
Okay, all right. That was just a little joke. But as we get ready to close out this thing, one of the most important things that I'm getting out of our discussion is there's hope for doing this with our veterans, but they need more. Your organization, Kinard Manor, needs more help. The Veterans Administration is doing part of it, but they're not taking up what it takes to make this happen.
Yeah, they give us a set amount. It's off a thing called grant per diem, and it's set by the VA. We have no control over it. And like I say, it only covers about 40% of what it costs to take care of these guys. So we have to come up with the rest of the donations, and we need all the help we can get. It's hard to do.
Now, how much does it cost a day to take care of a vet?
It costs roughly about $100 to $110 a day.
Depending on
food
whether
and transportation and everything like that. It comes up to around $100, and they don't give us nothing but about $40.
Right.
So the rest of it is our headache.
Yeah. Wow. Well, if you can help out in any way, or if you'd like to find out more information about this, I know, Randy, you'd love to talk to some of the people.
Oh, yeah. I'd be glad to talk to them. I'd also like to invite anybody who wants it to give me a call if you want to take a tour of the place and see how these guys live. I'm more than happy to bring you in and show you around, explain how the things work and what we do, and we'll go from there.
Sure. And if you'd like to give them a call, you can call their office, 229-0074. That's 229-0074. You know, as we get ready to wind this up here today, is there any other things you'd like us to know about Kinard Manor? I mean, I think we've covered a lot, but there may be something that we've missed here today.
The biggest thing, like I've always said, is we always need help. Whether it's somebody coming into Manor, or perhaps we have a Bible study, any kind of help we can get, we appreciate, because we really do need it. It's only me and one man running the place. That's it. And occasionally it gets real hectic. We could especially use drivers. Now, if they want to do that, they'd have to go through a course down at LS Carolinas in Columbia, a driving thing, and have a background check. But once they're there, they can help us out with getting these men to their places. Because we'll have them one going to Columbia and one going to Greenville in one day.
Wow. Now, do you have vans? Do you have the vehicles?
We have 2 vehicles,
okay.
2 vans.
So you're able to do that. I would think that if somebody was an employer in this area that was looking for some good help to get somebody back on their feet, I'm sure you have probably quite a few qualified people coming through that just need a little help getting started.
Oh yeah, well, that's like I said earlier, it's not the guy, a lot of these guys, it's not the skills, because they have the skills, it's their age. It's getting them caught.
And I would think probably some mentoring or even interning type thing might be able to take somebody from not having a job into getting a job.
I believe it would. It would probably help out a lot. Like I said, I've been trying to get a mentoring thing going for a while, seeing what I can do to get some men in there to help these guys, guide them, and head them off in the right directions.
Yeah.
And it would really add a lot to it. It would really help out.
Okay, so we need a mentoring program would be one of the big things that you'd be looking for?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, I've seen this done before. I did it once before, and it made a world of difference. I saw out of probably 75, 80 men the first few months it was going,
Mm-hmm.
probably 60 of them to 70 of them went out, got jobs, got apartments, and became successful real quick.
Absolutely. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. I do want to say one thing. We didn't talk about this, but I do know that this happens every time you get a success story and somebody is going to move out. The Women's Auxiliary, they help out. Tell us real quick what they do.
The VFW Women's Auxiliary, they will come in with a basket full of dishes, pots, pans, blankets, pillows, all kinds of stuff, cleaning supplies, you name it, and present it to the man who's leaving successfully, moving into his own place, to help him start out. And often in the areas they go into, where it's Greenville or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
the American Legion will step in when he gets there and help him get the furniture he needs, beds and so on like that.
You know, I think that's a terrific program, and I think that's a great way to get somebody back on their feet, somebody that has served our country and protected us and done good things for us.
I think the men deserve it. I mean, most of them put a lot of years in, and they still have problems dealing with it. I mean, even I do, the years I was in and some of the places I was in. But it does stick with you. It doesn't go away.
That's right. Well, Randy Lawson, I see that I got to say, you sound like you're an angel that has come here to take care of these guys and make things happen for them, and I know that they appreciate it. Thanks so much for your service to our country, and thanks so much for coming out and talking with us today.
Well, I think I'm more of a good devil than anything else. But thank
Okay,
you, ma'am.
well, I was going to give you angel status here today. Hey, this is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Bye-bye, everybody.